Well, your Broncos, it may not have been pretty, but they are 8-2, the first 8-win team in the NFL this season. 2 wins in just 4 days, and we will talk about it all because Chris Harris Jr. joins me every week at this time. Football Fridays starts now. Chris, we don't have to spend a lot of time on the Texans because we just had a second game last night. But as it sits here, your Denver Broncos, most of our viewers, Denver Broncos, 8 wins, 8-2. And once they beat the Eagles, I thought they could get to 8-2. I think I said it to you. I said it on TV. But to see it now come to fruition, we'll break down how the offense looks and how the game unfolded. But general view, if I would have told you heading into the year, Broncos will be 8-2 before they play the Chiefs through their first 10 games, would you have believed me?
Probably not. Just by looking at their schedule, I definitely count one. Probably, if I'm looking at the beginning of the year, I probably would have counted the Texans game, the Eagles game. Probably slipped one more game in there, but to be 8-2 at this time is great. 7-game win streak is extremely hard to do in the NFL. To win 2 games in a row is extremely hard. So it doesn't matter how ugly it is. They're getting the job done. And now it's time for the championship games, to finish strong. And now you have a big opportunity to win the AFC West, which hadn't been won by any other team other than the Chiefs since the past 9 years. So it's a big deal, big opportunity ahead, and I'm excited for them boys.
Yeah, you have, I guess, no other way to look at it than you play the schedule that you're dealt, because people have said, oh, they haven't had the toughest schedule. The Patriots schedule has been even easier. And we're going to get to kind of the rest of the league a little later as we look at the weekend. The Ravens are about to reel off, I think, a bunch of wins because their schedule has softened up and they're getting healthy at the right time. But it hasn't always been pretty. Sunday being a good example. They knocked CJ Stroud out of the game, but they're able to keep Davis Mills and the Texans in check, get out of there with a win. And then I thought that they would have an easier time scoring against the Raiders, having nothing to do with how bad the Raiders offense is. And you took away their best wide receiver, their most productive wide receiver. But I just didn't think their defense beyond Max Crosby has been very good. And you could tell last night, I was down on the field helping Westwood One out. So I'm listening to the radio call with Kevin Cooler and our pal Ryan Harris, who you, of course, talk to every week on We're the Harrises. And every time something happened, like, that's his first sack of the season. That's his first interception of his career. That's the first sack that guy's had since week 2. That's just a 10th sack. It's like it kept happening as first because the Raiders defense hadn't been good. So let's drill down on last night's game. Why do you think the Raiders had more success? Was it that the Raiders were doing something to the Broncos? Then there was an admission that they changed some things up, or that the Broncos were just ineffective. Mind you, it was Joe Woods on that defensive side of the ball helping out, and Marcus Robertson, some guys that you obviously know pretty well.
Yeah. They have great coaches over there, like the names that you just said. The secondary is going to be well coached. They're going to be well prepared. Patrick Graham's a solid D coordinator. He has a lot of experience in this league. And like Bo said, they made it very hard on them. He gave the Raiders defense a lot of credit. And Crosby, he's going to have those guys humming. It's a rivalry game. So when you play the Raiders, you play the Chiefs, the Chargers, anything can happen. So it's good to always get a win. And, I think over the past, couple of years, the Raiders have pretty much owned us too. Right. Yeah. I don't know what our record is, but I don't think it's very good versus the Raiders. So to get a win over them in a rivalry game, regardless of what the score was, we'll take it.
How about this? So the Raiders moved to Vegas, I believe, 5 seasons ago. And since they moved to Vegas, they had reeled off 8 straight wins against the Broncos in that 4-year stretch. Last year, the Broncos get the sweep because they had the big win here where, remember, it's 10-3. Bowers has that first touchdown. If Pat doesn't undercut that route and take it to the house, it's 17-3. And who knows, last year's Broncos weren't this year's Broncos in terms of their captain comeback story. And so that would have extended the streak. Instead, it snapped the streak. Then they go to Vegas and obviously get the win in November and sweep them on the year. And so it's now a couple wins in a row for the Broncos, make that 3, but it was 8 in a row. Like we made such a big deal about the 15 to the Chiefs, but they were led by a Hall of Fame quarterback, a Hall of Fame tight end, a Hall of Fame defensive lineman, a Hall of Fame coach, and a team that's going to the Super Bowl every year. The Raiders should not have won 8. The Raiders should never win 8 against the Broncos. Just like I'm sure folks in Raiders, Raider Nation will tell you the Broncos should never win 8 against the Raiders. Even when there's a gap, it's still tough. I mean, you guys were much better than them in the Peyton Manning era, and they still gave you games.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they had talent though. Come on now. We look at their receiving core, Mari Cooper, Crabtree in their prime. They still had some solid guys on the defensive side. The Raiders back when I was playing, they had a whole old lineman. It was like 330 plus.
Yeah.
1 year, right? They were huge, man. So it's not the same Raiders team that even when I was playing, even though they weren't, a top team, they were better than these teams. And right now, their main guy that they have is a Bowers. And I think, we've done a great job of shutting down these tight ends week to week. And Barron's done a great job. I think he only got loose one time. And we're going to go through that play. But we're eliminating their guys. We did a solid job on Genty. I think he had like 3 yards per carry. That's solid. But we just need some more offense. We need some more points.
Yeah. How about this number though from last night? This comes courtesy of Opta Stats. It's only happened twice ever in 40 years where one team has had 10 penalties, more penalties than points, more penalties than first downs, an entire quarter without a first down, under 100 rushing yards, under 150 net passing yards, and a missed field goal. It's happened twice, and it was both teams last night. So it had never happened, and then both teams checked every one of those boxes. The Broncos, because Sean always talks about playing in the standalone games, and so he likes an extra Thursday night game like they got last year against the Chargers. Likes the European games. Wanted to be the first to play in Berlin, like we're going to have this weekend with Colts and Falcons. Doesn't mind Thursday night football other than the compressed schedule, but both teams deal with that. Now twice, when you look at that London game and this game, when everybody's watching, the Broncos are leaving plenty to be desired. So let's maybe drill down on the offense and Sean Payton and what his offense is struggling to do, whether it be against a good Texans defense or we think an average at best Raiders defense. I mean, they are kind of average. They're middle of the pack in kind of every stat. Why do you think this offense continues to be so inconsistent?
They just can't get in the rhythm. And I think right now, we're trying to do a lot of gadget plays, a lot of screen short, quick passes. And we're getting behind on the sticks. We're not getting a lot of yards on those first downs. First down is not very good for us right now. We must improve on first down plays, right? We got to find a way to get the ball to Courtland more. 4 targets is not enough for him. I think Courtland needs to be in the 10, 8 to 10 target range, and we're not there right now. He's getting 3 to 4, and I just don't like that, in this offense. I think as him being the guy, the vet, he needs a little bit more touches. Also, of course, we miss Mims. Losing a guy that's a big play threat in our offense, we clearly see that we need him. So we got to get better with throwing the ball down the field. I've been saying this all year. Bo still has to improve on his touch, right? Maybe the interception he did throw, if he threw it a little bit softer, maybe he catches that ball. And get a little bit more consistent with the run game early. Dobbins got rolling a little bit later, but we got to get that in the first half. So there's a lot of things on the offense they can do to improve, and I'm pretty sure they're not satisfied at all. And they see, man, that the defense is what they're doing out here, outshining them, and I'm guarantee you it motivates them.
Yeah, and that's something, and we'll hear from Mike McGlinchey in a minute because he alluded to that. But just looking at why we think the offense isn't working before we hear from some of these principals, we're going to hear from Sean, we're going to hear from J.K. Dobbins, we're going to hear from Bo Nix as well before we get into how good the defense has been. Their numbers, they're the most penalized team in the league, period. But they also, as part of that, are the most penalized team on first and second down. And that's something Sean's talked about is, you're behind the sticks. That, as much as anything, you talk about Bo missing on the throws, not getting Court involved, not sticking to the run. That to me is probably the biggest head scratcher. I bet if we asked Sean Payton to be honest, what is bothering you the most? And he's probably going to say, oh, my play calling, or even Bo's throws or Bo's decision making. It's going to be penalties because Sean, like Bill Belichick, like the hard-nosed veteran coaches that we know, Pete Carroll, I think, would fall into this category. Pete's Seattle teams weren't most penalized the way we know the Raiders always are. What do you think is the reason or reasons why this Broncos team continues to just show a lack of discipline, especially on first and second down offensively?
Yeah, you would hope not to see that, right, with a veteran O-line crew. But it's happening, and maybe it's still Bo's second year in. Guys getting the cadence, getting his play count that he usually likes to go with, his his Omaha, as Peyton would say. Everybody kind of knew the timing on that, right? So when guys are all on the same page, you have less penalties. So maybe we might want to make that snap count easier. Make it simplify some things on the offense to where guys can play a little bit faster, stop having a lot of penalties. And, because when you hear other guys talk about a Sean Payton offense, right, it's very complex. Even just giving out a play call, it's very hard to do, right? Let's make it a little bit simpler so guys can play fast, especially early in the game, because, we're falling behind on the sticks. So that would be my game plan. Let's go out here and let's come up with a simple game plan to start us out and try to see if we can stay above the sticks and improve on first down.
Yeah, I'd be a little nervous heading into the Chiefs game that Sean, and he's probably been prone to this, although I don't know if he necessarily has here. Andy Reid will do some silly stuff too. That like the two of them are trying to show off for one another. I go back to 2 years ago when Russell Wilson's there on Thursday night, that 19-9 game, and they're in the red zone and they motion Patrick out to snap it to Kadarius Toney, who of course gets tackled in the backfield. And it always takes me back to, I know it's not apples to apples, but Donovan McNabb, when Mike Vick came along, he's like, why are you going to take me as the Pro Bowl quarterback off the field to put Vick in? But I'm thinking, why are you taking an MVP off the field or out of the play in the red zone when he could just throw it to Kelsey or whomever to let Kadarius Toney take a snap? And I'm glad the Broncos, jumped on that one. Point being, these guys can get a little too cute. We saw it, real quick before we hear from Sean, that third and one, what we thought was a trick play was going to be a Courtland throw. He's glad he didn't throw it. Sean's defense of it was, well, we had it up for a couple of weeks. Here it is. There's a little bonus film clip. We had it up for a couple of weeks. We know how teams act on third down, right? You can show me what the Raiders are doing as we look through this. They're not backing off on 3rd and 1.
Nope.
And so on second down, all out blitz,
man. That's all out blitz. And then, when you play Sean Payton, usually going to see the running back go to the flat. You're going to have some type of bootleg, right? Somebody coming in motion to the flat. And, right here, I think they could have ran the ball. I think it could have been a simple play, run the football, try to get this 3rd and 1, or come out, put them in spread, run a quarterback run with Bo, use his legs and his playmaking ability in third downs. But this play was a garbage play, especially you don't run those type of plays on a 3rd down like that, right? It's kind of you run those on like a trick. You're just trying to get in that trick play time when I would say like a sudden change. Like, man, we got a turnover. We're hurrying up. The defense is discombobulated. Now we'll run a trick play. But now, you don't run it when everybody's set. It's clearly 3rd and 1. It's a huge play, 3rd quarter, right? Everybody's awareness is very high. So I didn't like the play call right there, and I'm pretty sure that he would probably probably throw one of his rollout passes if he had another chance.
Well, and we also had an admission from Sean last night. I'm trying to find the quote, but basically he said that he was looking at the wrong side of his play sheet on 3rd down most of the game. So yeah, he goes, 8 penalties that start there. You take those penalties, say, I felt like it was a night when it was 3rd down and I was looking on the wrong section of the 3rd down sheet. And when you're over there too much, it becomes difficult. So that's an admission by him that it was his fault. Nonetheless, we had it in Minnesota.
Did he give up the calls then, play calls? Then?
He said he's happy with the operation. D-Mac asked him that a couple of weeks ago. Would you consider it? He said, no, we're happy with the operation. So no Joe Lombardi or Davis Webb calling the plays anytime soon, or Pete Carmichael. Not yet, at least. But maybe there's a, hey, coach, are you on the right section of the third downs? There has to be, like, he trusts those guys, especially Joe and Pete, so much so that they keep coming back when they leave for other jobs. And so he's not going to fire them if they check him, not even question him, just say, hey, coach, are we good on this? Are you sure? Like, that's why he has those guys around forever, is because he trusts them and knows they're loyal. They're not trying to grandstand or show them up. But Sean was mad at himself. Here, let's hear him last night. You can catch his saltiness. This is Luka Evans, who's I think about 24 years old, but he doesn't have any problem going at it with coach a little bit.
Sean, again, as you've said, your record says who you are.
Exactly right.
But,
no, but. Are you going to say but? No. What's your question?
Are you comfortable with the script of just kind of how these games
We're never
continue to be won?
comfortable as coaches, but there's no buts. So you're asking, am I comfortable as a coach? We're never satisfied. If my answer were to you, I'm comfortable, that'd be silly, right? So obviously we gotta clean up the penalties. We gotta clean up some of the execution, and that is an ongoing thing that probably never ends. There's, you search for that Shangri-La. Right now, we're a team sitting at 8 wins. I think we're the only team sitting there. So, and yet we're constantly looking internally and starting, but it was a tough night offensively, obviously, and I give them credit. They did some things differently that we hadn't seen, and you start looking at your call sheet with your sub plan, and so we'll look at that tape and we'll learn from it. We always will.
All right, no buts. Hey, no buts. But yeah, and I'm glad it was a good job by Luca on the fly. Say, are you happy with your script or how this script is? And I appreciate it. I was like, no, no one's ever comfortable. That'd be crazy. But I mean, you played for Sean. What do you think about just where his head's at following these last couple games, or
Look stressed, man. Look stressed, and a lot of weight is on him. He is the offensive genius. He is the offensive guru. He's the one that's supposed to be able to mold and develop the quarterbacks in the offense. They brought him over here to do that. So when the offense isn't performing like this, performing this way for the whole season, that a lot of that pressure falls on him. So I'm pretty sure he's definitely not comfortable. It's very hard to be comfortable in the NFL, regardless of if you're a coach or a player. So you're always uncomfortable in those, especially with the high pressure situations and decision making that you have to make. But a lot of those onus comes on him, right? Vance Joseph is doing his thing. We'll get this. He'll probably be a head coach somewhere next year or have an opportunity, right? It's 100. It's gonna be 100 college coaches open and NFL coaches open. So I'm pretty sure Vance is gonna have an opportunity somewhere. And so we'll get a good look next year, right? When Vance is gone, and we can see if he can really truly run the show in the way that he wants to. But right now, the offense, we definitely need them guys to pick it up for sure.
Yeah, and so let's roll through a couple more clips here, because that was the sentiment. This has happened far too many times this season for their liking, considering the defense going back to Sunday has had 4 games without allowing a touchdown. But let's start with J.K. Dobbins, as I think he's talking to a group, but Scotty Gange is engaged with him from Channel 9. Here's J.K. Dobbins on what he thought about the offense last night.
We're much better than what we're doing. Our defense is constantly each week holding us in the game, and just got to do better. That's like I'm with the fan base. Like Broncos country, I feel y'all, because I'm feeling the same way. And we have the team that we shouldn't be in games like that.
Okay, yeah, they should be more consistent. You appreciate his honesty, but there's got to be some frustration there too. When you know how it is, running back, receiver, it's dependent to some degree. I realize he had 18 carries last night, but what can he do as a leader who's come in? And that's one of the things we talk about, or that Sean certainly talks about, is the bonus was his leadership. Like, they knew the kind of player he was, and he's played like what we thought he might when healthy.
It comes on the leadership, right? When you're winning 7 games in a row, you might feel like you're invincible. But the way they're doing it, I think it's good that they're winning these tight games and not just killing people. And they have ways that they can. They see after the game, there's 100 things they can do to improve on and work on. Right, so it's keeping them hungry as they go through a 7-game win streak, keeping those guys locked in. And once they get it clicking, right now is when that time when you have to. In the November, December, you got to be riding high on offense, confidence, knowing the plan, knowing what we got, knowing the guys that we can count on going into these games. Because the stakes get higher and higher, and you got to play better and better as you go. So right now, the offense I would not be confident going into the playoffs with this. Penalties, not being able to run the ball every week on a consistent basis, not having a true key guy. Like, we want Courtland to be the guy, but we're not giving him the targets that he needs every week. So we got to get a lot better in a hurry to be able to make a strong push in the playoffs, because we're going to be in it.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you, and so is Mike McGlinchey, one of the veteran leaders on the team, and I think he was even more pointed in his comments than J.K. Dobbins. So here's the big right tackle.
A couple turnovers, that was tonight. But over the last stretch of things, when we get in lulls offensively, it doesn't really seem like it's not like we're taking sacks. It's not like we're turning the ball over at alarming rates. It's not like we're having huge negative plays. We're just not doing. We're not capitalizing on what we need to do, and there's opportunities there. Obviously there's some looks tonight that we weren't expecting. Certainly late in the game when they started playing base to sub, that makes it really difficult to kind of stay on track. And certainly, AJ Cole was on his way to being the MVP of the game. He pinned us into one like 3 times, and it makes it really, really difficult to operate normally offensively when that happens. So. A lot of weird things that happened tonight, but unacceptable to only walk away here with 10 points and with the way our defense is playing. And like I said, we'll be better for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe him, I guess. I think you have no choice but to believe him. You talk about the plan, and, we can look ahead to the Chiefs here in just a few minutes because we're going to hear from Bo Nix next and then flip to the defense and get into the film room. But this schedule does kind of set up well to get out of there with the win, whatever your Thursday night game happens to be. But you get the mini bye and you're feeling good about it because Sean's going to give them off no matter what. It's not like if they lost, they were in today. They're getting the days off. The Chiefs are off this week, but that gives you a good week to get, like, Monday. You're not, I know they'll go over this a little bit, but Monday they'll begin to Chiefs. Like, they'll be early on Chiefs. And then you get the Chiefs. Then you get the bye, and then you go to DC after Thanksgiving. Yeah. So it's setting up to be, especially knowing that you're going to see the Chiefs again in a month on Christmas or 5-6 weeks, and you're not going to have as much time to get ready for them.
Yeah. A good thing it's the Chiefs. You're very familiar with them. That's why they kind of make these games like that at the end of the year. And these are going to be crucial games, right? Even the Chiefs, they seen the Broncos win. They got to come out and get a win this weekend. And it's going to be a tight race. The Chargers, I think they're out of it now, right? Losing Joe Alt, losing Rashawn Slater. Not having anybody to be able to block our Broncos edge rushers, I think they're out of it. It's gonna definitely go down to the Chiefs and the Broncos, and I think the Broncos definitely feel confident that they can get the job done. But like I said, the offense is gonna have to pick it up. You're gonna need more than 10 points to beat a Patrick Mahomes led team and Andy Reid led team, and but the schedule, like you said, is setting up perfect for them. And I think they are in the playoffs, right? Usually you win 9 to 10 games, you're in there. I think the Broncos can win 2 more. I think they're locked in. So now that it's just, winning the division, getting a higher seed, trying to get home field advantage, right? They have an opportunity to be able to get those things.
Yeah, and so I'm trying to find. So I'm going to send over this graphic to David to bring up because I want to hear from Bo, because you look at where their offense is coming up short. I asked Bo the question because I'd heard the offensive guys. Mike wasn't the only one to talk like that. Dobbins too. Any offensive guy that spoke kind of said we've got to help our defense out. So I asked a couple of defensive players, Alex Singleton and Zach Allen specifically, hey, these guys know they're not in their mind holding up their end of the bargain. I mean, I don't think I'm being insulting. 10 points is not going to get it done. That's exactly what Mike said. What can you do as a defense? And Zach Allen was quick to say, hey, we can just keep giving them more opportunities and hopefully, they'll make plays, but we believe in them. So there's no division there. The defense is happy with how they're playing. But so I asked Bo Nix, I said, look, your offensive guys are down on themselves. Defensive guys got your back. Are you someone who spends more time dwelling on what didn't go well or knowing that we played our best, like the idea, we played our best and it just wasn't good enough versus we left some stuff out there. There's an opportunity to get a lot better. We're not playing our best consistently. They did against the Bengals, I guess, and certainly against the Cowboys. And so then here was Bo's answer to that in terms of, that balance of, are you down on yourself versus knowing we can be a lot better?
I think you guys stay level-headed. You got to understand that it is the NFL, and 7 wins in a row is hard to come by. So you're doing something right, but at the same time, you're also doing something wrong because there's plenty left on the table, I think. And between penalties and just some sluggish football, we're just not playing very good. And starts with me. I got to be better, and then the rest of the guys will follow along. But we got to find some juice somewhere. We got to find something, and especially against a good defense like that, there's plays to be had. We just got to find them.
Right. Need some juice, man. Like you said, need some juice. I thought Harvey was going to be able to do that. We didn't really get him involved in the passing game as much as I like. Up on the linebackers. But the Raiders are going to, Joe Woods and those guys are going to have the secondary playing well. They're going to be well coached. The Raiders defense, they try to come in and get it, definitely try to prove that they're a better defense than the Broncos. And it was evident that they wanted to try to do that. So, but what Bo is saying is that sluggish penalties, MEs, that's how you lead the league in punts. That's why you're not putting up the points that you want to do every week. So if we can eliminate those 3 right there, that's going to set them up to, be that type of offense that they want to be. And that's making plays, big plays every week, right? Play action, run the football, screen game, everything that they want to do can happen, but you got to be locked in. They got to come out with some more juice, like you said.
All right. And so I saw this yesterday and look, you were the first, as we've seen the world of analytics explode in football, you were the first PFF, I think, superstar, Pro Football Focus, as they were becoming a company. I'm not saying they used you as a centerpiece. You were just playing so well, and they would take us way deeper into the numbers than I think the casual football fan, because we could look and say, oh, who's leading league in punts? Who has the most sacks? Who has the most interceptions? And so we've seen this explosion. So this is a stat that I saw yesterday, or a graphic I saw yesterday from FTN, and it's the number of missed yards, if you will. So it's trying to explain yards that were available that are misses are uncatchable passes based on the target being open. So we can look at those couple misses that Bo had, against the Chargers, on the one, even on the 4th down in the game against the Titans. Every game, right? Yeah. So you look at that, Bo is north of 700, and that was before last night, because this graphic was from yesterday. Cam Ward, a rookie, is now second, but he's a full 200 yards behind Bo. And you see Baker and Mahomes and Stroud and Penix, guys that'll take shots. And to Bo's credit, he has 8 touchdowns over 20 yards. And I think after that, nobody has more than, based on number of attempts, Mahomes has 2 less attempts, 42 to 44, but only 1 touchdown over 20 yards. So Bo has hit on some. It's just how many open receivers he's made. When you see that, I guess, how alarming is it? Or is it, okay, the guys are open, he just needs to get it there, and you think he can?
It just shows me that this offense is set up off big plays, right? Hit or miss. If we hit the big play, Bo gets the big stats. He's leading the league with downfield throws, or touchdowns, right? But he's also going to be there with the misses. So we got to find a happy medium. Let's find some intermediate game, quick game, mid-level throws. Peyton used to live in those worlds. He didn't just always take the deep shots, right? He would pick them apart down the field. Tom Brady, pick them apart down the field. And it's okay doing that, taking what teams give you. And I think that's what Bo needs to do. I think he sometimes must take the home run. And if he just takes what the defense gives him and just continue to stay above the sticks and keep getting positive yards, I think he'll be okay.
Looking at the one positive I'll give you from the offense that jumps out or popped into my head is, we talked about that 8-game winning streak the Raiders had over the Broncos, or 8-game losing streak. Who was the main reason why the Raiders defense destroyed the Broncos game after game in that streak?
I'll say probably Jacobs.
Well, I was just going to say the other side of the ball, Max Crosby.
Crosby too, yeah.
Crosby was,
yeah.
I mean, Jacobs on the offensive side for sure, but Crosby was destroying the Broncos game after game. Didn't matter who the quarterback was, Joe Flacco, Case Keenum. Max Crosby helped get to the Pro Bowl every year on the back of his games against the Broncos. Well, he didn't do much last night. I get the Broncos only scored 10 points, but no sacks. I don't know. I think he might have had one pressure, just, thinking about what, my eyes tell me or what I can remember. But the fact they were able to neutralize Max Crosby, that's the one positive I'll give him from last night.
Well, I mean, I would say Broncos right now, McGlinchey's playing solid. This is probably his best year here as a Bronco. Miners, is he okay? We got to get the.
It was an illness. It was an illness. He finished the game. He came back in and finished the game.
Okay. Well, he's a dog, so he's probably the best guard in the league, one of the best guards. And then Bowles is playing like the best tackle in the league. So the Broncos O-line is very polished. They're blocking pretty well. They're keeping Bo upright. I think leading the league in sacks, right? Giving up sacks.
Yep.
So I'm very, I think Bo should be all pro, first or second team. I got to check out the other tackles, but from what I'm seeing, he's definitely playing at a high level. McGlinchey's not playing bad, so being able to keep Bo clean is that's going to be huge to get their offense to the next level. That's something that they can, build off of. Our offensive line is playing good. Right, let's build off that in the plays and what we can continue to do to get positive yards.
Yeah, you talk about Bowles. I feel like every week I see that he's leading the league in terms of tackles. He hadn't allowed a sack. I don't even think he's hardly allowed a pressure. He's been outstanding and worth the money that he got on his last contract, and certainly worth what he's getting right now. All right, as we flip to the defense, we're going to hop into the film room in a second, but I just appreciated this from Alex Singleton, and it is funny because you know how. Even though the locker room in this version, in the Sean Payton world, and I think even in Vic's world, it was mixed and matched. You weren't DBs. Because when you first got there, the DBs were now y'all were next to the receivers just based on how the locker room was set up, which made for lots of good trash talk between you and Talib and Emmanuel Sanders. But you were at the transition. Emmanuel and DT were right there, which my favorite was after practice, pulling up the iPad and them asking us, hey, who won this rep? Who won this rep? When you and Talib were going at it with E. But now, I mean, it is really mixed and matched, which I think is good for team building. But on game day, it is offenses on one side, defenses on one side, mostly, I think, for halftime meetings and pregame meetings as much as anything. But so the defense, they're all smiles. The offense, happy they got the win. And so to go from the offensive side to the, we bounce back and forth based on who was talking. Alex, understandably, he talked right after Jonathan Cooper because their lockers are near each other. And I appreciated this from the Broncos middle linebacker.
We're good. I mean, we got the best defense in the league. We don't care. We're gonna just keep going out on the field doing our thing, give the offense as many opportunities as we can. But we know what we have. We just all enjoy playing football.
You appreciate that? We're the best defense in the league, and he's right.
Yeah, and they're proving it every week. Being able to just go out there and do their job. Right, one focus is doing our job. As long as we can be the best defense on the field every week, right? Whoever the opponent is, be better than them, have more turnovers, get more sacks, whatever you can do to change the game. And that's what Alex and those guys are doing every week. And it seems like we said in the past, they have great relationships. These guys are in tune. You don't see them having a lot of miscommunications out there. And they're playing together. So regardless of how they're getting it done, they're getting it done. And it's hard to win 7 games in a row in the NFL. So I don't think people really truly understand that. And regardless of how they're getting it done, it looks good on paper, right? First in the AFC, first in the AFC West. Being able to get home field advantage at the Mile High. I'd love to be there for a home field advantage playoff game. That'd be huge.
Yeah, and they control their own destiny in that regard. And a win over the Chiefs will make it much more difficult for the Chiefs to catch them. You look at their schedule, because we're going to jump into the film room real quick, but just looking at their schedule, we mentioned how you get the Chiefs after the mini bye, then you get a real bye. You're at the Commanders. Who knows if Jaden Daniels' elbow works by then? This Commanders team is not what I think a lot of us thought they would be coming off last year, mostly because of injuries, not just Daniels. McLaurin's barely been healthy. Debo hadn't done much. I know there's been they lose our guy Austin Eckler, who's one of your old teammates and a Colorado kid. So got to shout him out. He's done for the year. And so, and I'm sure there's a few Marshawn Lattimore tears his knee. He's done for the year. So it's a winnable game for sure. We know it's never easy on the road. You get then a trip to the Raiders the next week, winnable game. Home for 2 against the Jaguars and the Packers. Now, I think it goes, I need to double check which one's 14th, which one's 21st, because then you get 4 days to Christmas. That's going to be a quick turnaround. I can double check it real quick. But in general, and then after Christmas, you get another mini bye. Yeah, so it's Packers first, then Jaguars. And you don't know what the Jaguars they're better, but this schedule sets up for them to not only win the division, but be jockeying for AFC, top spot, second spot, hosting 1 or 2 playoff games potentially. And I think that's all you can really ask for. Now you need to take care of business, but it's all in front of you because they played so many road games. They played, I think it was 6 games in 38 days or something like that. 6 or 7 games in 38 days. It's been a whirlwind. And so let's do this though. Let's, like we do every week. And there not a lot of great things to pick from on the back end because of how crappy Geno Smith and that passing offense was. But
it was bad.
This is the best part of the show in a lot of people's opinion. Let's hop into the Chris Harris film room. Well, as I mentioned, not a lot going on in the secondary. So how about we start with what the pass rush was doing? And maybe it's because the secondary was doing their job too.
Right here, we call this like an odd front, right? Broncos lining 3 DNs to the left side, and they're doing that to be able to cause one-on-one in the pass protection from the Raiders, right? Bonitto comes off the ball, one-on-one, no chip, and if you don't chip this guy, he's going to be able to get back there every time, right? Can we get the little rewind right here with the Hufanga?
Yeah, we just started back. Okay. Okay, so the next play is going to be the Hufanga play.
Yeah, but they're not chipping Bonitto. That's all day.
Yeah. And then here comes Hufanga.
Right, that's the double A gap looks that Vance Joseph loves to run.
Running back for a linebacker, right?
Right, the running back just completely blows his assignment right here. Right, it's very simple. You count the numbers, and all you have to do is block Hufanga. But this is the NFL. Sometimes guys do make mistakes, right? So when that happens, we get a sack.
David, pause that real quick. Pause that. So I didn't realize it until they handed him the ball. Like I knew this in the offseason. That running back, that's not a rookie. That's a guy that had to block Hufanga in practice. Raheem Mostert, I think he doesn't want to miss an assignment, but I'm thinking part of him's like, I don't want to deal with this dude, and I don't want to deal with 57. I know what it's like to have to deal with them in training camp.
Pause this right here, too. This is a different look.
Yeah.
What do y'all, if y'all real Bronco fans, what do you see different right here from what they're doing?
Well,
let me see if you can catch it.
I mean, there's 7 guys up front, but they're all across the front.
No, they always do that.
Okay,
they always do that.
What is it? Where the linebackers are?
Cooper. Where's Cooper at?
Cooper's inside.
He's inside now.
Yeah.
Right? Creating different matchups. Right? Moving these guys around to create one-on-one matchups. And
is that Zach Allen on the outside now? All the way outside.
Allen on the outside coming. Right? Just moving guys around, giving them different looks. Right? Because you would think Cooper would be outside dropping. right? But now he's inside, and he's going to drop him back. So the Raiders just can't read it. He almost throws Cooper an interception. He sees him fall back, right? And Hufanga with the easy sack.
All right, let's keep it rolling because they had 6 sacks, 5 in the first half, which I think is the first time that's happened since 1990, maybe, or third time. You'll take
Right
that.
here, man. Just the boys up front. Did Roach get a one?
Yep, that's Roach.
And Zach Allen should be all pro this year. They definitely stole one from him last year, but it's another A-gap look. Turned to a 4-man pressure. Broncos play coverage. Able to get there in the pass rush, man. John Franklin Myers is having a great year. Cooper, all these guys up front are balling. Tillman, Roach, everybody. So, the whole D-line is loaded.
Yeah, Zach Allen post-game, he's like, man, all these half sacks. He's like, it's a good problem to have. But he was lamenting that his numbers weren't as good as they could be. Now, look, the guy just got paid again, so I don't think he's that worried. But it is funny.
Right,
when
there. That's an odd look, one-on-one.
Yeah.
Vance Joseph creating different one-on-one looks for all these guys. They're going to have to find a way to chip these boys. They're not chipping them. I don't understand.
We don't have the play here, but, we're picking on Mostert a little bit. One of the plays where Geno rolls out and just throws it in the dirt, you'll see it on if you watch it on social media. Bonitto's unblocked, and you're asking Genty as a rookie to get in front of him. Bonitto just gives him a quick little jab step and is right by him, and it forces Geno out and leads to to an incomplete pass.
Right.
But asking a rookie running back to block Bonitto one-on-one, coming off full speed, you're talking about the chip. A chip at least gives a running back a chance to set his feet.
Kill Vaughn. They used to try to kill Vaughn, right? They were not going to let Vaughn get a clean starts like that.
Yeah.
Right. 1 or 2 guys and then a running back. Right. So I don't the pressure that they're doing versus the Broncos is I'm confused on how they're attacking them with that, letting Bonitto have one-on-one, letting Allen have one-on-one. And maybe it's some of Vance Joseph being able to scheme some things, give them different odd looks, overload looks, double A-gap looks to where, hey, you don't know who you're going to have to block, and we're able to create one-on-one situations with our pass rush.
There were some numbers from Next Gen Stats that I'm going to find real quick because Nick Bonitto reposted the positive numbers about him. He generated 8 pressures, the sack and a half on 24 pass rushes, 6 quick pressures. His average time to pressure was 2.04, second fastest mark of the season. And that might be his own.
Were they tracking that speed off the ball when I was playing?
Maybe towards the end of your career, but I don't know if they were when Vaughn was in his prime. Because if they were, I'd love to know that number. But last year I asked,
and Doomerville too. People forget Doomerville got off the ball too. I would love to see those 2 guys. Even Aaron Donald. Who else used to come fast off the ball like that? Cliff Averill. Those boys used to come humming. So, but this guy right here, he definitely has to be the fastest in the league off the ball right now in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, at 2.04, because they'll tell you have 2.5 seconds max, right? Normally, I understand every now and then you can. Yeah. So the fact that he's that close to 2 seconds, and he's timing the snap count right. I don't know why they didn't go hard count on him a couple of times. Listening to Ryan Harris on the call, he's like, the Broncos have this timed up. They need to do something to throw him off, and they never did. And that, to me, that's on Chip Kelly and I guess on Geno and Pete too, to not say something, to say, hey, let's go on 2 or 3 or do something to try to get them, because they're coming, and they didn't care. And so it's been fun to watch. 45 sacks, the most sacks by a team through 10 games in NFL history. We know to set the all-time record, you really want to do it in 16 games for it to really count.
Right.
I think they're obviously going to have a great shot to catch the 72 by the 85 Bears, I think it was. But if they can get there in 16 games, it'll be even cooler. And then get to 75, 80 would just be a fun thing to hang their hat on. All right, we don't have a lot.
What number are they at now?
They're at 45 through 10 games. So 45. 7 games left.
I think they can break it.
They're certainly going to come close. And they're going to be playing against teams that'll give you a chance. Patrick Mahomes for as good as he still gives you a chance to get to him. Ask Vaughn.
Yeah.
And you know that Jordan Love's going to be back throwing the ball. Trevor Lawrence is going to be throwing the ball. You're going to see Geno in the Raiders again, or Aiden
That's 5
O'Connell,
more from Geno.
or Kenny Pickett in the Raiders. Or
I got 5 versus the Chargers. That's 10.
yeah.
They're going to be close. Like
Yeah.
it's going to be. I think they can get it.
And who knows who you're going to get with the Commanders. So yeah.
5 again, 15. So that's 15 right there.
5 times 7 is 35, so that gets you to 80. If they can get if they get 5 a game in the last 7, then yeah. Like I've said, like we've said, there's not a lot to really write home about. They only completed 4 passes in the second half, but going into the game, we know how explosive we think Genty can be. It was all about 89, especially with Jacoby Myers. And how about the job they did on the star tight end?
Being able to eliminate him with the defensive scheme, you know, in the past, Vance Joseph's system has gotten ate up by tight ends, right? But they played a great game versus Bowers, keeping speed on him, DBs. He always had like a corner on him majority of the time, rarely a linebacker. If he did, it was shorter underneath routes, and that worked out great. That worked out great with the game plan, and 1 catch for 30 yards with this type of guy, that's a win all day. This play right here.
Yeah.
Can we start that over? Right here, we see we're in man. I think they're in a double-double, right? Okay. Hufanga's supposed to be really doubling Bowers. In the middle safety, Jones is doubling Jaquan McMillan. And right now, you know, Barron is playing outside leverage. He's thinking he's going to bring in bringing Bowers to Hufanga, and Hufanga he's cutting the wrong guy, right? He's cutting Moss, and I think he should be cutting his eyes on the tight end, which is the number 1 receiver.
Yeah,
he just runs past him.
Even if he runs into him, it ends up being it's a 5-yard penalty versus it being a 30-yard gain or whatever it was.
And by Jade's reaction, it clearly thinks that Hufanga's going to be there. He's going to cut the tight end. He's not going to be helping Moss on a little 5-yard route, right? He's going to take over, you know, the deeper route, the more explosive guy. And you see him with the hands out, man.
Hey, he's a rookie, but that's one. And we know he's probably been at the top of the list of mistakes made this year so far. But he looks at his guy, his captain, and is like, "Come on, man, what's going on here?" That's an easy
play, man. It's a great call by Vance Joseph because he hasn't been running these type of defenses, right? He hasn't ran like a double-double. So to be able to do this and kind of sprinkle a new type of coverage scheme for those guys and make the quarterback find the open guy. Right? Make him find the right guy. If Hufanga's right there, I guarantee he doesn't throw that. Right? So that eliminates 30-yard pickup. So that's something they'll clean up next week and have it ready to go because Kelsey is going to run the same route next week.
Yeah.
He's going to be there. They're going to try it. That's what Andy Reid does. He does copycat plays, and they're going to see that next week with Kelsey. And it's going to be a huge matchup, right? Rookie versus Kelsey. That's a vet. I'm excited to see that matchup next week.
And maybe there's a scenario where PS2's healthy. So I guess we'll find out if he's ahead of schedule. But probably not.
He ain't coming back until they lose like probably 2 games in a row.
Well, he gets a bye week after the Chiefs too, so maybe we see him after Thanksgiving. You know, I realize you want it to be healthy because you need him down the stretch and obviously into the playoffs. So a stat I heard yesterday. And this just lets you know how kind of silly stats can be. The Broncos are the worst defense in the league in yards per catch to tight ends. But when you think about that, Ferguson didn't have any. I don't know if Schultz had any. You know, the Mayer kid had 1 last night, but Bowers just 3 targets, right? Is that the lone catch?
One catch.
He had 2 catches. He had the other catch one-handed as he was getting tackled early. That one. But you think about busted coverage against the Giants, big touchdown to the tight end. Tip play to the other tight end. So the yards per catch, but that's
because they only get like 5 catches probably.
Right. Yeah. They have 5 catches for 120 yards.
Yeah.
But they have, 30 targets and no catches. So I think that's where stats can kind of fool you. All right. Final thing we have for you in the film room, talking about tight ends. I think maybe 92 should get a look at tight end with where the Broncos tight end room is. How about this play?
Come on. It's another, blitz, simulated blitz in which Vance is dropping the ends, dropping the rushers. Hell of a return. Oh, he took a hit, man. I didn't see it
Yeah,
early,
87.
but
Mayer got him there.
yeah, Mayers came back. Great hands. I know Jones wanted that pick for sure.
Well, and when we go back to the wide shot of it, watch Alex Singleton signaling for him to come this way, and then Alex just tags one of the linemen.
I want to see that view again. Can we get that view on him running? But this guy definitely played running back.
Yeah, well, he said he's got. I asked him, but here, look at Alex. He's going. You can't see it there, but he's like, "Come here, come here, come here," and then Alex just gets the tackle.
Boom! And then he clears him out. That's what I'm talking about, Alex. But then, hey, tell me, man, you gotta know where those guys are coming from behind you, man, because you cut back and took a big hit too yourself. So nice soft hands, being able to make a move right here. Got a good block. Who was that trying to hit him? Was that Gino?
Maybe. Let's see. Is Gino, because this is before Gino got hurt.
Oh man, we couldn't see it, but hey, is this guy leading the team in interceptions?
He's leading the team in interceptions with 2, which is certainly a point of contention, I'm sure, for Vance, but also for the entire defense. All those guys.
We wouldn't hear the end of it. As a member of the No Fly, if Von Miller and D Ware had more interceptions than us, we wouldn't hear the end of it.
Yeah. Or in this case, because of who Tillman is, had Shaq Barrett been leading y'all in interceptions.
No, Shaq Barrett. Oh,
that's essentially what this is, because Tillman comes in the second group with Ellis, and Ellis did leave the game last night with a hamstring. So being down on the sideline and helping Westwood One out, I got to track injuries. And so it was his left leg, and he's in the tent. You can't really see anything, but you can see the doctors, trying to get him to flex his foot up. So it was a hamstring, and I saw Miners come to the bench. Doc Garrity goes to talk to him. He goes into the locker room or whatever. Then Doc goes back with them. They were going to take this bag, this yellow, red and black bag. I don't know what was in the bag. And I'm like, what equipment is in there? They don't. Then like 2 minutes later, different trainer grabs it and runs it back. And we get word he's got an illness. Okay. But then he comes back and he played the last series. So, and he was in the locker room getting dressed while we were talking to McGlinchey. So you hope that Miners, whatever it was, is, okay there. But when I asked Tillman about, I go, hey, man, I know you said you'll do whatever the team needs. Would you go in and play tight end? He's like, I got tight end in my background. If I'm them, I'm like, hey, because Troutman doesn't do anything with the ball after the catch. He has no problem getting tackled. Evan Ingram apparently has forgotten how to catch the football. It's crazy.
And D-line is the easiest position in the league, right? We're just going to be real, right? You don't have to really know too much to be successful in D-lineman in the NFL, right? It's not a lot of film you got to tune into. So if somebody can play both ways, it's a D-lineman, right?
Well, and look, we saw it with receivers back in the day, guys like Troy Brown, you play receiver in corner. Travis Hunter, I mean,
that takes a lot of smarts to be able to do that.
Okay.
From skill position.
Yeah,
but
all right, I get it.
But yeah. D lineman where they're just telling you go rush the quarterback to, now, hey, you got to run this route, a specific stem. It's probably even way more in depth with Sean Payton. All right. But Tillman, I think we can put a package, man. Give him a 3-play package, especially in the red zone. Let's get this guy involved. Oh, he's mad at me, man. I didn't see the comment.
No, he's mad. He's mad when you left. He was mad that you went to the Chargers. It wasn't 100%. It wasn't you saying, I want to leave. I think it was a mutual, like, hey, Chris, it's been a good run. We're not bringing you back. Good luck. We'll see you at your Ring of Fame ceremony, or in this case at DT's and last year. And we'll see you at yours here in a couple of years.
Yes, it happens. It's a business. And I mean, I've went through this story a million times. We didn't have the owners that we have now. I'm just here to keep it like that.
Yeah, exactly. As much as you love the Bolin family and all that, yeah, it's a different situation. We saw that. I don't know. Did you see this week? Because we're gonna get to our look at the weekend real quick and get out of here. Did you see the preliminary kind of drawings for the new stadium and how it's gonna go? I mean, I know I showed you because our studios are pretty close to where Burnham Yard is, just a couple blocks away. So I showed you when you were here a few weeks ago. But to see it because you can envision it, but then to see their idea, I think it's exciting.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be great for Denver. Adding more life. We love events and things like that, concerts and all types of stuff they're gonna do. It's just great to have those people, the owners, the Penner Group, all of them there in Denver, right? They're actually going to be transferring and changing the city,
Yeah.
themselves. So that's major to have those people there, the ownership group there, just for the city sake also, right? It's going to help everybody.
Well, and I didn't ask you this last week after you were here,
Yeah.
but what did you think as you saw the $300 million practice facility coming together and thinking about what
Yeah.
that is and how cool that would have been to have when you were here?
Yeah. Oh man, even when I was here, I always thought we had some of the best facilities regardless. Even if you compare it to a lot of other teams around the league, the stuff, even what we have now, is still better than a lot of teams.
Yeah, I mean, look, you went to LA, they were in transition. They've finally finished theirs. You went to the Saints. I know Sean made it better, but
yeah. I always thought always thought we had a nice facility, right? They always, I forgot the guy's name. Oh man, he's killing me right now. But he was always coming up with new plans and new things that we needed to do. Chip.
Yeah.
Upgrades and things like that. And now it made sense though, because we used to have the whole, organization. They used to work downtown. Then we have everybody else is in the valley. So now you can kind of bring everybody together as one. The weight room. I did hate doing this though. I used to hate walking outside in that cold to go to the weight room and walking back.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it now, just to kind of talk people through this, other than it doesn't say Centura because it's now Broncos Park powered by Common Spirit, but that's what it's going to look like. They've Damani Leach told me in passing yesterday that they've basically got all the roof on, like everything's covered. That's going to be covered like as of this week. But so if you look at it, you see that courtyard, that is the third level, and that is where all the business folks will be. And so they're bringing about 90 or 100 people from downtown. And you not only create synergy, it also gives you more room when you build the new stadium. You don't need to put a bunch of offices there. That can be extra pregame, Budweiser Club or whatever it is to make more money because their office is down. So the whole first floor is all football, and the players can go right from the locker room, which is about there on the middle field is where the locker room is and the weight room is kind of in that area. It's attached to the field house. There's 55, I heard, maybe they've changed the number. There's going to be 55 spots underneath or 58 for the 53 active players, coach, GM, owner, and maybe team president. And that's it. Underneath parking, though, everybody else will park out there. And then the second floor is coaches. And I think some of like the people, the VPs of the world. And then everybody will eat in the same place, but then they can go, like the business people eat while the football players are on the field or in meetings, but it's all going to be right there. And obviously attached to the Pat Bowlen Fieldhouse that they didn't touch. It did open obviously when you were here. It's going to be truly state of the art.
Yeah. And they deserve that, being able to, get a staple spot right there, all in one, inclusive. It's going to give those guys the best chance to win. And, definitely excited for those boys, man. They got a lot of things coming, and they're handling business on the field, 8-2, and they just got to keep it going.
Yeah, they're 8-2. Let's look at what's going on this weekend. So real quick, only because you see me wearing my Kansas shirt, you often are wearing your Kansas gear. Yeah, Kansas football's at Arizona, but we're kind of lukewarm on Kansas football, despite the Big 12 feeling a little bit wide open.
Arizona's going to be a hard game.
No doubt, especially after scoring 52 on the Buffs, which is a whole other conversation. I had a chance Sunday after the Texans game. I brought my little man, my 7-year-old Leo, to the Texans game, and then that was just convenient for travel because I didn't want to come back to Denver. And then Doug Gottlieb's one of my best friends, and he coaches at Wisconsin Green Bay. So they opened. Bill Self gave him a game where they pay Green Bay $150,000 or whatever that number is to come in, and basically Kansas gets a win. Doesn't always work. Like Boise State brings a school from Hawaii that is literally in a strip mall, and they come in and beat Boise. But anyway, so because Doug's the coach of the team, and he's been one of my best friends for almost 30 years, we get to ride over to shoot around on the team bus and get to see all the museum stuff. And then he's getting to stretch with the team. Then we go back on a team bus, and we come back over the game on a team bus. Now they wear green and white at University of Wisconsin Green Bay, but they're connected to the Oneida tribe. You know, there's all those tribes in Wisconsin, those Native American tribes. So they have these special purple shirts. So I'm wearing one. So is my son. And it takes to one of my friends from KU who's calling the game, Stephen Davis, whose dad, Bob Davis, a legend. He goes,
Yep.
I bet you never thought you'd be wearing purple inside Allen Fieldhouse. I'm like, oh, man. And I saw Coach Self after the game. He's like, what is this? I was like, that's what Doug's team was wearing. He's like, oh, okay, you know, whatever. But so my kiddo is on the court. He's getting to warm up with the Green Bay team. Then it starts to get crowded. So he's just kind of on the side, but he's all in. He's the first kid that's ever shown up at Allen Fieldhouse as a Jayhawk fan and left as a fan of the opponent. He's like, I don't want the Jayhawks to win. Like they won by KU. We won by 43. I was never worried. I would like to have seen a closer game for Doug's sake and for those, you know, his team. It seems like a nice group of kids. They brought Leo in like he was part of the team. He's in the team huddle pregame. It was great. But it's such a magical place. I don't know the last time you've been to a game there. I haven't been to a game there since you see my oldest behind me who's 19. He was 9 or 10 in that picture with DT. My other ones weren't born. So you went last year. It's such
I try to go once a year. Try to, you know, stay active up there, man. They always take care of me. Coach Self, I used to catch him on the road too.
Yeah.
I'll probably try to catch him when they play TCU.
Yeah.
Up here. That'll be a good game to go up there because I got to go see, is it Peterson or?
Dude, so that's what we're going to say because that's what we're getting to. Before we get to our football games, 2.5 points. Carolina is good game tonight. It's an early start if you're here, even where you are at 6 o'clock there, 7 Eastern, 5 o'clock Mountain Time. Kansas at Carolina. Kansas has won 8 straight against Carolina. 5 straight, but we're 7-6 all time or 8-7, whatever it is. Beat them in the championship a couple years ago in 22, beat them in the Final Four in 2008. But they got a kid, Caleb Wilson, who's going to be a top pick.
Yeah, I like
Peterson at 6'5", and now other people are saying it because, you know, Doug Gottlieb in his postgame, he goes, look, that's the best 18-year-old I've seen since Kobe Bryant, 18-year-old guard. He is smooth. He doesn't force anything. You know, in the scrimmage against Louisville, he hit 6 threes, but he also had 6 assists. He plays defense. He can get to the rack. He scored 21 on Green Bay, and then I guess cramped up a little, never came back in after about the 12-minute mark of the second half. It was an easy 21, and they were guarding him. They weren't open. You know, he wasn't just running around crazy. He is the truth. And so what's funny was the Nuggets brass was at the game last night. Their 2 GMs or whatever their titles are, Ben Tenzer and John Wallace. And I was talking about him. I was like, yeah, but you're not going to get him. Like, no way. Like that dude is going number 1, number 2 at worst. But you got to go see him.
Yeah, I'm going to go see him. You know, just see his shot making ability. He can dunk, he can finish, he can play defense, he can pass. Definitely be a top 3 pick because Boozer, I don't know how they're gonna pass up on Boozer, right? Yeah. Boozer's down there averaging 20-20. You're right.
Yeah, Boozer's a stud in the DeBonza kid at BYU. It's gonna be a fun year.
I'm taking him third. I would take AJ third.
I guess
take Boozer and
Peterson
above him.
I guess it just depends. So what's funny about Peterson, real quick. So final thing on this, you know, you warm up on the opposite sides of your bench. And so KU gets out there later, they're warming up, and I start walking through just like by the scoreboard. I wasn't even in their way, but they kind of do the stretches all the way to the scoreboard. NDP kind of like he high fives my kid as he walks by, then he high fives me. And he's like, oh man, I thought you were with us. I go, oh no, I am. I'm a Jayhawk grad. I'm like, my friend's a coach. He goes, oh, okay. So we were all good there. I just pulled up the Kansas schedule just to see. Now they're here against the Buffs on the 20th. Not that you'd want to be here in January necessarily, but the
Buffs got a guy too that's supposed to.
Yeah, their point guard's pretty good. How about this? They're not at TCU, so you're going to have to go to. Are they even at Oklahoma State for you? Wednesday, February 18th. You're going to have to shoot up to Stillwater, I think.
Dang, they don't play TCU this year.
They do in Lawrence because there's so many damn teams in the Big 12.
What about Houston?
They play Houston. Yep. Monday, February 23rd. So a couple weeks after the Super Bowl. You can
in Houston?
Slide down to H-Town. I mean, it's the same drive as Stillwater. It's far.
It's about the same. Yeah, it's about the same.
And Stillwater, you can, see friends and family. I'm not telling you.
I'll get a little bit more love in Stillwater for sure.
Yeah. Well, because people may not know this, including David, our producer, and I'm sure he's ready for us to get to our picks and get that out of here. You were offered a scholarship to go hoop for Sean Sutton at Oklahoma State.
Yep, man. But I was already committed to Kansas, play football. I kind of just said, nah, I'm gonna stick with football. And
Did you
Bro,
even once
that
ask, hey, Coach Self, can I come try out? I can guard Aaron Miles.
man, we didn't. No, we
I
had
guess it wasn't Aaron Miles. It was Sharon Collins.
Mario. We had Mario Chalmers, Sharon Collins.
You could have kept those dudes in front of you.
Tyrell Reed.
You definitely could have kept Tyrell Reed in front of you.
Russell Robinson. No, we had vets when I pulled up to Kansas. It wasn't no, my big brother was Darnell Jackson.
Yeah.
That's my big bro, D-Jack coming from Oklahoma City. That was my guy. So he always took care of me. Rio. Those are my big brothers on the.
Did you ever play pickup with them though? Would you ever go to the field house and play pickup? Or to the practice center?
Man, they wasn't playing too much. Those guys weren't. The Morris twins were. They hooped a lot over there. Roderick Stewart used to hoop a lot over there. Damn, who else used to?
Morris twins are not well liked in
Tyshawn. Tyshawn would hoop a little bit. Tyshawn Taylor.
Yeah.
But the Morris twins lived over there, bro. They were always hooping.
Yeah.
They lived at the Rec.
And Elijah Johnson too.
Elijah's
godfather. Here's a fun fact to tie it back to football. Elijah Johnson's godfather, same godfather as Patrick Mahomes. They both, LaTroy Hawkins, who's your neighbor essentially, he's one town away. LaTroy, because he played with Pat Sr., is Pat's godfather, and his best friend growing up is Elijah Johnson's dad. So his two godsons, one played in a national title game, and the other one's the best quarterback in the NFL. Anyway, so fun facts there. Let's look at so Kansas 2.5-point dogs. Do you think we go in there and win tonight in Carolina?
It's going to be on the bigs, right? If our big boys can continue to play good, I think we got one athletic big.
Two, I think with 15, the freshman's coming too.
Oh yeah, he's solid too. We got to be able to play big boy ball with North Carolina. They're very physical. They got big guys. They can score in the paint at will. So I think that's going to come down to Peterson, hitting a lot of threes for us to win the game.
And I don't know if Steph Curry's playing tonight, but since we're talking hoops, Nuggets Warriors in a cup game. So that means funky court, 8:00 tip. Steph just missed a game the other day. I guess Marcus Smart another Oklahoma State guy tried to pull his arm out of his socket. So if Steph doesn't go, and Jimmy Butler sat too. So Nuggets are 9.5-point favorites. Nuggets.
I got the Nuggets.
Yeah, I do too. How about Joker the other night? 30, 33, 16, 15. He's unbelievable.
If Joker doesn't win MVP, it's just purely off of just hate. I mean, nobody's number. Well, he might be in that Kobe time, LeBron time where, hey, we know your numbers are going to be crazy and we're just not going to give you the MVP.
It feels like for him to get the MVP, they probably have to win the West. Because if they win the West and he has those crazy numbers, it'd be hard to say, well, he's not the MVP. Yeah. All right, let's look at these handful of football games. So we'll go window by window. We have to do a lot on the game, but it is cool because I've been seeing NFL Network in Berlin. First game in Berlin after two awesome games in Munich. Falcons are 6.5-point dogs to the Colts, who did not want to play the Broncos there because they knew there'd be more Broncos fans. But are you going to be up early? 8:30 kick your time, 7:30 here for Falcons Colts. You going to catch that one? Maybe catch second half.
I want to see the Sauce edition.
Oh yeah, right. We didn't talk about that. Sauce is a Colt.
Yeah, I want to see that Sauce edition. Into their defense and how they play, and it's going to be a huge game. The Colts, if they're going to be able to, stay in first place or, drop to second, it's a big game for placement. So I'll be up, I'm going to go with the Colts to win this.
Yeah, you got little kids. Like
I need Robinson. I need you to pick it up, though, because you're killing my fantasy right now. So I need some yardage, man. I need some big games like you had earlier in the season.
Yeah, so if someone can get that message to Bijan or if he's watching the show this week. Okay, the best game in the early window for me is the 3-win Ravens at the hot Vikes and JJ McCarthy. Ravens are 4-point favorites in Minnesota because they're getting healthy, and Minnesota, I get it was a big win, but division win in Detroit. These division teams know each other. I don't hate this line. I like the Ravens to win it. I don't know if they cover, but I don't mind them being the favorite.
Yeah, they're looking at J.J. McCarthy versus Lamar Jackson. I'm not really sold on the Ravens yet. Of course, I think they played a solid game last week. I'm going to go with the Vikings. I'm not sold yet. If they beat the Vikings and they're able to have a good game versus Brian Flores defense, then I'll join on the bandwagon after this.
Here's their schedule. So Minnesota at Cleveland, as much as we love Shelby in that defense, and we know it's a division game, but at Cleveland and Dylan Gabriel for now.
That's a win for them.
Host the Jets, who don't have their 2 best players now they traded, or 2 of their 4 best. Then they host Cincinnati. Joe Flacco coming home to Baltimore, like he did with the Browns the one time, I think.
They could lose that game.
Oh, for sure. But they could also win it.
Yeah.
They host the Steelers. So, again, in Baltimore, we know those games are always close. Then at Cincinnati, I'm just saying they could go from 3-5 to 7-5, and it won't surprise anyone when you talk about Minnesota, Cleveland, New York.
This is all going to depend on Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers.
Yeah.
Right. Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers can handle business. They control their own destiny. They win that division. It's going to be tough for the Ravens to make the playoffs. They might sneak in as a wild card because we've seen times 3 teams have made it, 2 teams have made it in division. But I for sure see the Colts, Broncos, Steelers. Who else we got?
Chiefs. Unless the math doesn't work out for them, but
the Chiefs. It's going to depend on next week if they beat the Broncos. If they can beat the Broncos,
are you talking about division winners or playoffs?
Just playoffs.
Yeah.
They're not set in the playoffs yet to me.
Well, here I can give you the standings super fast.
But the AFC is
just conference standings today. Denver with 8 wins is number 1. Indy and New England. Obviously, Indy has a tiebreaker over the Broncos. That won't change if their records stay the same. Then Pittsburgh, like you mentioned, Buffalo 6-2, Chargers 6-3, Jacksonville 5-3, Kansas City 5-4, then Houston, Baltimore at 3-5 each. And then I'm
saying? It's not a
lock for Kansas City.
Yeah, it's not a lock for KC, and it's not a lock for the Ravens. So who's to say that those teams ahead of them don't keep playing solid football?
And real quick,
yeah.
No, they play the Colts in 2 weeks, so they get the Broncos and Colts. Chiefs are going to be tested here, back-to-back weeks. They're in Denver, then they come home to host the Colts. Then they're at the Cowboys, and look, it's Patrick going home to Dallas and all that, but we know the Cowboys in theory are better at home. They weren't. Then they host the Texans, host the Chargers, at Tennessee's a win, host the Broncos, finish up in Vegas.
Can't forget about the Bills and the Patriots, right? That's going to be a tough race. That's going to go down to the end. We see 2 coming out of that division.
Yep, I think you're 100% right.
Right, maybe 2 or 3 coming out of the AFC West. So it's going to be interesting. Right now, it could possibly be the Broncos and the Chiefs second round in the playoffs.
Yeah,
right. If they sneak in.
Well, there's also let's go another direction. It could be Broncos Chiefs in the first round. Where if the Broncos, they're second or third, and the Chiefs are what, 5th or 6th, all of a sudden, then you're playing them, or I guess 6th or 7th. Sorry.
Yeah.
Or 4th or 5th, right? If the Broncos somehow slide but win the division, or vice versa. But yeah, we could absolutely see Broncos Chiefs in the opening round, or definitely the second round. But I know this feel a lot better if that game was at Mile High. Refs or otherwise. But man, I can't.
There's no more home field advantage for KC. All right, they got to go win on the road. We haven't seen them go in the playoffs and win on. Well, they did last year. They won in Buffalo.
Last year, finally.
But other than that, they haven't done it.
They won in Buffalo and Baltimore last year, I think.
Yes, they did. Yep, they went to Baltimore. So last year's the only exception, right? I don't think they can do it again. And it caught up to them in the Super Bowl, and they got smacked. So I don't think they can do it again. They got to have that home field advantage, and they're not going to have it anymore. So Mile High is going to have an advantage. It's tough to go to Indy and win. It's always been tough to go there and win. So I don't think people want Indy to get the number 1 seed either.
No, I think so. I think you're right. Although if you had a choice to go to Indy or go to New England, at least Indy, the weather'd be good.
I'm going to Indy.
Yeah. Also, the times that you've gone to Indy, most of that time, Peyton Manning was there, and even Andrew Luck was there. So,
right.
Daniel Jones is there now.
I don't think I ever won a game there. So,
no, well, and
I got to go back and look at my.
You definitely didn't win Joe Flacco's last game there, thanks to Jacoby Brissett. Vaughn almost had him.
Yes.
And then that was Joe Flacco's last game as a Bronco because his neck was hurt. All right, let's pick these last couple of games and get the heck out of here. So that's the best game. So who's winning, Ravens, Vikes? I'm taking the Ravens. And
I got the Vikings.
Okay. The best game in the afternoon, Rams are 4.5-point favorites at the Niners, and the Rams obviously playing really good ball. And Puka's
I'm
back
gonna
healthy now,
go with the Rams. The Niners, I think their injury will start to creep up on them now.
especially against a really good team. I know that Kyle and Sean obviously have a great relationship, great back and forth, where the series momentum will shift. I'm with you. I think the Rams win that game. It won't blow my mind if the Niners somehow pull it out, but I think the Rams win that game, and I think they cover.
Yeah.
I think the Rams could be the NFC Super Bowl representative pretty easily.
Sure.
I mean, I say easily, but like it's not much of a surprise. Okay, the night game, we talked about those Steelers. They're 2.5-point dogs, despite having TJ Watt and those dudes on that defense against the Chargers backup tackles. No more Joe Alt. He's done for the year. Of course, we knew Slater, like you mentioned earlier, he's done for the year. But the Chargers still 2.5-point favorites. Where the other thing we're not talking about, when they go to that wide shot on Sunday Night Football, it's going to look like a Steelers home game. There will be every Steelers fan that's west of Denver is going to be at that game, and some are probably flying out from other. Well, I say flying out, maybe driving out with where things are right now with airports.
I mean, you used to hear them in the Mile High.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. They had a presence in the Mile High, so I know for sure they're going to be deep in SoFi. SoFi. I'm gonna go with the Chargers on this one though.
Okay.
I think Herbert at home has been playing actually very good. So
he's been great.
Yeah, I think he's gonna continue to play very good, regardless of the rush this week. And I think they're able to steal one from the Steelers this week.
I don't think they're going to win the division because the Broncos and Chiefs, I think, will make things too tough. If the Chargers can win the division, even if they're the third seed in the AFC, I'm going to have a hard time not voting Justin Herbert my MVP. I don't have a vote, but, at least conversationally.
Yeah, it'd be hard right now with the way Stafford is doing.
Sure, but if Stafford wins the division, like you have Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams and tackles. He's got Ladd McConkey, Johnston, rookie running back. It's
rookie tight end.
He doesn't have Kyron Williams behind him, a Pro Bowl running back yet. And Hampton's been banged up. So, all right. And then I think probably the game of the week, and you can tell by the way Vegas set the line. Packers are a 1-point favorite at Lambeau. I'll check the weather real quick against the defending Super Bowl champion Eagles. So I think 1-point favorite at home at Lambeau almost feels like a pick 'em. So how do you see it shaking out as I get our weather report for Lambeau?
This is a tough one. I'm gonna go with the Packers.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the Packers. I think they're able to stop the run, have some big plays in the air. Jordan Love and Michael Parsons bring that rush. It's gonna be tough, man. But I'm gonna go with the Packers at home.
Yeah, I like the Packers at home too. And this is where Michael Parsons, Pennsylvania native, has had plenty of success against the Eagles individually, getting to Jalen over the years. We'll see if Saquon can start to continue.
I don't like how the Packers been playing though. I don't like the loss.
And they just lost to the Panthers.
That was a very bad loss, right? Good teams don't lose those type of games.
Boy, B-Mac. Did B-Mac keep his job this week?
B-Mac has not been kicking very well, right?
He's missed 6 kicks and he's missed 6 kicks and he missed 2 games.
Right. So, if he makes those kicks, maybe the Packers, 6-1 right now. But actually, I'm gonna switch my pick. I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
Right. I'll take the
Packers. I forgot. B-Mac has been hot right now.
It's all right. And so I looked at the weather. 1 snowflake on the weather forecast, 35 on Sunday night. Monday, no snow, just partly cloudy. Obviously, it's nighttime. 37 for a high, 23 for a low. It's going to be a little chilly, especially if that wind picks up there at Lambeau, but not frigid, not crazy weather. So weather, I don't think will be truly a factor. Some guys will have sleeves. Tough guys won't, of course. Linemen won't. But I'm going to go Packers.
You want Packers?
All right.
I'm going with the Eagles, man.
Well, I thought with no behind enemy lines, no injuries to really talk about, we'd fly through this. Instead, it was the longest show we've ever done. But this was a lot of fun. David killing it on the other side. He worked well into the night and early this morning, getting things ready for the cold tub with Jake the Snake Plumber and Nate Jackson and getting stuff ready for us. So it has been a blast. So thank you, David. Chris, always a pleasure. Thanks to everybody for listening, the handful of people that chimed in, and tell your friends about this show and Football Fridays. Did we talk enough about the Chiefs? David asked us to talk about the Chiefs. I
We
think
talked
we,
plenty
yeah,
about
I think we'll be able to find some stuff on the Chiefs. But we will get you ready for Broncos Chiefs a week from today. Chris, the Broncos got to win so you can enjoy your weekend, not having to stress about
Well,
what the Broncos.
my Jayhawks gotta, put a good performance on against Arizona.
I'd love to see it.
Arizona's playing some good ball. They put on the show versus Colorado last week, so they're not gonna beat us like that.
No,
I know that
it
for
won't be 52-17 or whatever. But which was that the score? I'm pretty sure that was the score of Super Bowl 27 when the Cowboys beat the Bills.
Arizona got some dogs out there, though, man. I'm not sleeping on them. I don't think. Hopefully, the Jayhawks are not either.
52-17, and that was definitely the score of Super Bowl 27. I'll look it up just for fun. Yeah, Super Bowl 27, Cowboys over the Bills by a score of 52-17. I always would marvel when Dave Logan could pull stuff like that out. And hey, I did it.
Dave Logan is a
legend.
human encyclopedia.
601 games now he's called for the Broncos. They gave him a cool game ball for 600. And last night was 601. Shout out to Dave Logan. Shout out to you for hanging out with us. Chris, I will see you on Friday. And of course, Tuesday, you will be with Ryan Harris and Shelby Harris. So make sure y'all are checking out We're the Harrises and everything we're doing here at Guerrilla Sports. Thanks again, David. We'll catch you next week here on Football Fridays at Guerrilla Sports.